Ooh, let's do her.
It's fucking
Game day.
Game day.
Let's drink beer, spark a cig, and have no fear because the Hawks are gonna win today.
Let's black out and rage. It's fucking
Game day. Let's drink beer, spark a cig, and have no fear because the Hawks are gonna win today.
Let's black
Out and rage. After the game when we're all tore up,
We'll meet at Mickey's, drunk as fuck.
Hey,
Order a car bomb, call it a night.
Go home, get as high as a kite.
Because it's
game day. Let's drink beer, spark a cig, and have no fear because the Hawks are gonna win today. Let's black out and rage. It's fucking game day.
Welcome in, Iowa Hawkeye fans, to another episode of the Hawkeye Tailgate Report. I am Luke Myers. We got Joey and Austin here tonight, and we also have Ross Wetterwer. We're short Space Cowboy and Matthew this week, but it's good to have Ross on. I think the last episode we did was when Luca graciously welcomed Iowa City with open arms, and
Yes, he was back.
yeah, he was 100% back.
Our Lord and Savior, Luca Garza, returned to us. He's going to lead us to the promised land.
And Fran 100% guaranteed that there will be a season. So
Yeah,
We
and
got that
I would
going
have
for
to
us.
agree. I don't know what would lead anybody to believe that there wouldn't be a season unless Kevin Warren just goes no season.
Let's start this right now. Fuck Kevin Warren. He can get fired for all I care. He's terrible. Him and Larry Scott, worst commissioners in Power 5 like athletics. You cannot tell me that it's safe for Iowa State football to play this fall. It's safe for Iowa high school football to play this fall. But the University of Iowa cannot play football this fall. If it was across the board, we can't play football, I'm okay with that. You know what? That's fine. But you can't tell me that one Power 5 team in Iowa can play and all the high schools can play, but the University of Iowa can't play. That's bullshit.
Can we talk about how big of a gaffe it was by Iowa State to say we're going to allow 25,000 fans into the stadium while Iowa City and Ames are the top two in the world in cases, and then 3 days later, no, sorry, that's not happening.
hold up. I'm here to defend that.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I'm here to defend Iowa State.
Luke Myers, known anti-vaxxer.
No. So, okay. Did you guys see today that I'm pretty sure Iowa State laid off a shit ton of people, right? And, that's the repercussions of not having football is the moneymaker at every program.
The majority of the money that is made from playing football, which is the majority of the money for the whole athletic program, comes from TV revenue, not ticket sales.
It certainly can hurt.
Okay, if they decided to lay off 20% of their staff, it's not because they couldn't have 20,000 fans in the stadium. That's not the reason. Those layoffs were going to happen regardless. Them not having... They were going to make...
25,000 times, what's that? Probably
$50 a ticket, maybe. And if you're paying $50 a ticket to see an Iowa State game, you're doing something wrong.
big
your
mistake in the
fault.
first place.
That's your fault.
No, the majority of football revenue comes from merchandise sales and TV revenue. Those are the things where you get most of your money from. You'll make a couple million a season off ticket sales and concessions, but the majority of your money come from TV rights and merchandising. So that's not an adequate reason to say, well, since they couldn't have people here, we had to lay off a bunch of our staff. Those layoffs were going to happen regardless. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Also, I know we have varying opinions on this virus here at this table. Luke is on one side. The rest of us are probably on the other.
Don't make me sound like a non-believer. I wear a mask and I...
No, I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you follow the rules and everything, but you are definitely more on the side of let it run its course than the rest of us.
I will openly admit that. Yeah, that is correct. But it's not like you said, I'm taking them... I'm
on this
doing
podcast,
what I'm supposed to.
Listeners of this podcast, we welcome all thoughts on this. But you're wrong if you value sports over people dying.
That's not... No, I value...
Yeah, go up to your grandma and sneeze on her and be
I will.
I'm sorry, I just want football.
I don't have a grandma, Ross.
Okay, go up to your grandpa. Sorry.
Oh, okay, you got
I got 1 out of 4 left,
But,
too. You're
sad
not
boy
gonna
hours have
try me
started.
whatever.
Well,
Same.
even like Grandpa Johnny isn't exactly super protective about this either.
He's pretty protective because his wife is at
Yes,
high risk.
but like he still goes places and does stuff.
Right, he's protective of it, but I don't think that.
It's in his head that he wants to protect his wife.
But it's also in his head that he's up there and he wants to live his life. So that's his choice. But the people that are like, no, Austin, we're going to talk about this because this is an issue in society.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. Yeah, it
we're
deserves
all
to be
medical
talked
experts.
about. Yeah,
Really.
well, yeah, we'd like to
No,
preface this.
I
We're
listen
not
to the medical experts. Yeah, you say, listen, we're not medical experts, but
But Joey
we're
is basically a medical
no,
expert.
I listen. I am regurgitating what the medical experts are saying. So the fact of the matter is, people are dying from this. Whether they're, you can't just write it off and say, oh well, all the old people are dying. That's still people dying,
Yeah, no, it is.
and I mean we still have to respect that and be cautious of it. So
But I don't know. I don't understand how science works because I'm an absolute moron. Let's put that out there.
Okay, so perfect. So listen to the people that do understand how
Yes,
science
but
works. Listen
you,
to the medical
you
experts.
listen to Dr. Fauci and
Oh
He's-
no, we're getting political now.
no, why is that political? Why
That's
does
another
that
thing
have to
that
be
pisses-
political?
It shouldn't be.
That's another
Exactly,
thing that pisses me off. Just listen to him. He's a doctor. I don't care what side of the spectrum
Thank
you're on.
you.
You're not a doctor, and your fucking stupid cousin or uncle on Facebook is also not a doctor. The masks work. The masks serve their
Yes.
purpose.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Anybody that shares, I'm sorry if you listen to this and you don't believe in masks, but if the masks work, okay?
Yeah, there's a
That's why
reason-
Iceland, or not Iceland, New Zealand had it completely eradicated because they all wore masks and they didn't let anybody in the country. None of us stupid Americans went to New Zealand for how fucking long, and they had it eradicated, and then they let people into their country, and now they have it back. Wear the masks. It's not hard. You'll be fine. You might breathe in a little hot air, and you might smell your own nasty fucking breath, but you'll fucking save lives. So.
Oh, and if you don't believe in the science or whatever, Obama put cameras everywhere in public, and the government's gonna steal your face.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
this
totally
has
wear
gone
masks.
off.
Don't go on TikTok either because they're just gonna take all your information and abduct your kids.
This is so wild
I was trying
already.
to help people.
Okay, so we haven't even really.
Yeah, we haven't even we've
Iowa.
talked more about Iowa State athletics than we have.
Yeah,
Iowa
we're sitting
athletics
here
this
on game day
podcast.
eve. We're sitting here less than
Pour one out for the Hawks.
12 hours.
We're supposed to be getting drunk in 4 hours.
yeah, yeah, 3 a.m. We're supposed
I
to
don't
be
know about
black.
you, but I'm already a little.
No, but I
Drunker.
I saw a bunch of Iowa fans tweeting today, and it just kind of depressed me. They said, "Oh, right now I'm supposed to be preparing to go to Iowa City tomorrow," and I'm like,
If you're listening to this, you won't be listening to this before the game was supposed to be played, but just get drunk anyway, in honor of the Hawks.
Yeah, so
It could be Labor Day weekend still.
so,
you got
so
time.
right now it's Friday, September 4th. So in a normal year, tomorrow, September 5th, I was supposed to be waking up at specifically 5:30 in the morning to Back in Black.
"Correct."
I was immediately going to grab a Busch Light from my mini fridge, walk to the shower, drink that beer while in the shower, and then proceed to be piss drunk by 10:30 in the morning to go to an 11 o'clock kickoff against Ball State. And I can't do that this year, and it kills me so much.
You skip the part where you make a fire-ass breakfast before we go to tailgate.
Yes, that's true. Breakfast sandwiches.
Instead, I'll be waking up tomorrow morning. I will put on Back in Black, but I'll be laying on my brother's futon, looking up at the ceiling, thinking, "What in the hell is this
But-
actually happening today?"
Were you not, we are still going to be on a bender tomorrow and for the whole weekend. As you should too.
It's a holiday
Even
weekend.
more so this year
Yeah.
because there is no football.
If anybody out there was looking for a reason to get drunk this weekend, it's Labor Day weekend, so just go for it.
I don't know how I'm going to react though. Like, there will still be college football on Saturdays.
It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
And I
your
don't know if
college
I'm going to
football.
feel like there's a big empty spot inside of me, like knowing
Oh, yeah.
that I don't get to watch Iowa.
We can pick our teams that we're going to root for. It's not going to be the same. Not even relatively close. But should we go over what team we're going to cheer for this year?
Yeah, sure.
It just won't be the same turning on the TV at fucking 11 o'clock, watching a solid 10-6 game, Maryland versus Rutgers.
Oh.
Like, we're missing out on the nuances of
We're
the college
missing out on
football
the
season
6-4
this year.
Iowa Penn State games.
It's just
Yeah.
sad, but
And even if my Ole Miss Rebels make the national championship, it just won't feel the same.
You,
My
Joey,
Ole
Joey,
Miss,
how many players do you know on Ole Miss's team this year?
0. But that's exciting. I get to learn a team.
Not right. I mean, I'm jumping on the Navy bandwagon. Although,
Respect for the troops.
yeah,
it's
respect for the
patriotic.
troops.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was not going to pick anybody to cheer for, but then I was sitting there a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I could probably cheer for a military academy, so
Wow.
so I jumped on board with Navy. Have you two thought about it?
Yeah, the Texas Tech Raiders are going to be my team this year because they're all gas, no brakes. And if I'm going to cheer for a team outside of Iowa, I might as well cheer for one that puts up 50 points a game. So Texas Tech, let's go.
I took some flack for this one when I mentioned it. I've mentioned it in passing before. I might cheer for Missouri strictly for the fact that if I get drunk enough, their colors are close enough, I can pretend it's Iowa.
That's fair. And
I
their
get
logo.
that. I get that.
No,
yeah.
it's Southern. Wait, which?
No, just Missouri.
No, which team is
Southern Miss has like the,
Southern Miss has
yeah,
the one that is like the knockoff Tiger Hawk, right?
home of Brett Favre.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Brett Favre, rip to him, by the way.
it's not like I
Dead to me.
I can tell you right now that I can tell you the single Navy football game I'm actually gonna watch this year.
Oh,
Army,
what's
Navy.
that?
It's gonna be Army Navy.
And
like-
I hope it's fucking snowing.
They have Army
10
on their
feet.
schedule this year?
oh no, Army's done.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Really?
no, because they're part of the
So you're not
Mountain
gonna
West.
watch any games.
No, that's Air Force,
Yeah.
you dope.
I
Army-
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't even know.
Yeah, yeah.
West Point is in New York.
Yeah,
They're certainly
sorry.
not
Hey,
part
sorry.
of Mountain West.
Do your homework on your team.
Hey man, I'm new to this. All right.
I know that Ole Miss is gonna play some SEC teams. At
That
least.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what are your thoughts?
And
though?
Chad Kelly went there.
Okay.
Bad boy of college football.
Shut up. Okay, so let's get into the Big Ten here a little bit. So clearly, they're not playing this year. The Big Ten isn't, and I mean, at least I don't think they'll play before December. So
I don't know.
I know you think they're gonna play, Joey.
I would bet my left nut that they're gonna play. I don't, and it's not gonna be for anything. They might just play each other, but it's gonna be for the revenue. People are gonna watch. If Iowa and Michigan are playing on a random Saturday 2:30, that's gonna get ratings. They're not gonna be playing for anything, but
So, yeah, I kind of echo your thoughts on that. I think that the Big Ten, for whatever reason, will have... well, it's not for whatever reason. It's strictly due to the fact that they'll be able to make money off of TV revenue to have games if they start in November or December or whatever. That's the only reason they'll have them. I'll watch it if it's on, but in the same breath, those games aren't going to mean anything. At that point, you're not playing for a national championship, you're not playing for any bowl games. Any player that has a reasonable chance of being drafted highly in next year's draft is going to sit out, because what the fuck is the point of risking having like a career-ending injury in a season that means nothing to you? So I get that they'll probably play so they can make some money back, but at the same time, it doesn't mean anything for the fans. It doesn't mean anything for the athletes.
Yeah, it means
it means a lot for
me.
the fans. Because Austin,
Yeah.
if we play Rutgers on a random Saturday in December, are you gonna treat it like a regular game day? Yes. We're gonna be up at
get it.
6, and we're gonna do our ritual. We're gonna do the same thing we would do if it was tomorrow.
I suppose so, but like, it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Like, I during the football season, like, I can have my delusions about Iowa playing the national, like, playing for a national championship, or I can be like, most years I can realistically think Iowa can contend for a West championship, but like, it doesn't. That doesn't mean anything this year if we start the season in November.
It kills me to say this, but that's just like a regular season. We're not gonna make the.
Here,
there's
let me say
a
this.
2% chance of us making the playoff in a given year, so it's
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
high.
it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same to us.
Okay, but like, if I...
And we won't play in a meaningless bowl game. We
it-
won't kick the shit out of USC in late December. Who cares? We did kick the shit out of USC.
Okay, but beating USC was big for Iowa as a brand because USC is like a big national brand. But, so like, in a normal year, yeah, Iowa's not going to compete for the college football playoff. But if you have a good enough season, you can get a New Year's Six bowl and that means a lot in terms of the program, in terms of what it means to the fans. But this year, if we start playing in November, December, that doesn't mean fucking anything because we're not
I gotta
be in
stand up and talk
consideration
here
for anything.
because I am on record saying a Big Ten. If Iowa winning the Big Ten would be. That would make me just as happy as if they made it to the college football playoff and lost in the first round.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So
this means if we got an 8-game schedule and we won the West and faced Ohio State and Indianapolis, and
that's the biggest thing right now. Iowa we have a good team, and the West is not that strong. Like we have Wisconsin, whatever, but it will be huge for recruiting if there is any form of season because if they just don't play at all. Nobody's going to see us, and people will just forget about Iowa and the rest of the Big Ten schools for that matter. But if they play, they'll say the recruits will see it and be like, "Wow, Iowa's like legit," because they will be a good team. Petrus is the goat.
I'm on board with
The same thing happened with
On the
Stanley a few
train.
years ago for me. I'm on the train. Petrus
don't
is
know.
a stud. He's better than Jared Goff, allegedly.
Well, statistics wise, yes, you're right.
I don't know.
Those are my favorite stats in college football right now.
High school
Favorite
stats.
thing. I hope the TV announcers bring that up every time he throws a ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that, like, from a recruiting standpoint, it makes that big of a difference because playing an 8-game Big Ten season, I don't think, especially in an 8-game Big Ten season where you're not playing for anything outside of just being like, oh yeah, well, we're the Big Ten, we're going to play a couple games against each other. I don't think that has any type of sway for a recruit, especially if the games take place in a setting where there's no fans allowed. Because as a recruit, if you go to a game day and you know that it's for a couple Big Ten games that don't mean anything, and there's not a normal game day environment, how does that sway you one way or another to be like, you know what? Yeah, actually, I want to go here. What difference does that make if you're not playing in front of anybody and the games that they're playing
But
don't do
There's
anything?
nobody's playing in front of anybody, so that's moot.
That's not true.
The SEC is.
That's not true.
Okay.
ACC and SEC.
Well, yeah, okay.
Do
you wanna go to-
the very
do you wanna go
first
to-
game the football season last Saturday was played in front of fans.
Okay.
That won't last.
And who wants to go to those colleges? And
Okay, but there's Power 5 conferences that are going to have some fans at games.
But that's
Iowa State
no,
had
it's-
reversed
it's-
their decision.
but you got to look at it from the perspective of that's not going to be a regular season. Like the fan and like the environment aspect is out of it because this is not a regular season by any means. So like recruits might not see Kinnick packed, but they're not going to see like hardly any stadiums packed. Like if they're like a logical person, they're going to see like, oh, hey, it's COVID year. Like this is just not normal.
I think that if a recruit is going to be swayed at all about like teams playing this year, they're going to be much more swayed towards the fact that the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC decided we're going to go ahead with a normal regular season. We care about football enough to put it together as is this way, instead of the Big 10, after dragging their ass for months, being like, oh shit, you know what we need to do this to save ass from a monetary standpoint, to have 8 games played in January, and then turn around and play a full schedule again in the next fall, which means honestly, they care less about the athletes if they're doing that, because it's way harder on their bodies to start a season in January, play games, take a month and a half, 2 months off, and then immediately go into a full schedule next year.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of on board. If the Big Ten and the leaders, absolute morons, but they push it off till December, January, at that point, the season will get done February, March, and then that cuts down on recruiting, and then it's already affecting the next season. I'd rather have them completely skip the season if it's not started by October, and then have a full regular season next year instead of dicking up 2 seasons.
I just want to go on record saying I think this was Joey's idea that I was a real big fan of when we saw that Iowa and Nebraska were the only 2 teams that wanted to play. I would have been happy as a clam just watching Iowa spank Nebraska 12 weeks in a row.
On an unrelated note,
Ross is right, by the way. That's a good take.
yeah, Nebraska
Stinks.
Well, yes, but they've done some things that I've certainly been a fan of over the last month and a half. And I'm not going to start...
Yeah, about as far as much praise as I'll
just
give
kidding,
Nebraska
okay.
is that if the door was open for us to just play them 12 weeks in a row, I'm cool with it. That sounds fun to me.
12-0 sounds like a great year.
Yeah.
Also, we have better
We'd-
corn
we'd-
than Nebraska.
Their corn is trash.
We would absolutely mess up a couple of those games. It'd probably be like 10-2 still.
Oh yeah,
No, well, sure.
it would probably be closer to like 8-4, 7-5 if we're being honest.
That's
I don't know. The last
And
2
you
years,
can move out.
the last 2 years have been game-winning field
If you
goals.
play the same team that many times in a row, I think it's more likely than not that
Yeah,
you'd end
it's-
up more towards
it's-
like even than like.
it's been field
10-2.
goals.
Yeah, the
But
last two
we
have
have
been game-winning field goals.
NFL talent on the offense, and I don't think Nebraska can say the same.
Yeah,
We've
Well,
got
that's what bums me out.
3 NFL receivers probably. They will get a shot. Okay,
No.
you're telling me
There's a difference between saying they'll get a shot
Brandon
and
Smith,
saying that they're an NFL.
ISM and Tracy are all going to get a look.
Okay,
in the
here's
NFL.
the thing. The Oakland Raiders are licking their chops at the opportunity to draft ISM
Yeah.
and Tyrone Tracy,
Yeah.
fast guys.
So
that-
Tyrone Tracy was just a freshman last year, so it's
Also,
not like
like-
he's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
anywhere after this year.
No, he was just a freshman, but he was a stud.
Okay, yeah, I agree, but there's a difference between referring to somebody as an NFL receiver and then saying they'll get a look.
Hey, if you
We're
got it,
Iowa.
you got
We
it.
gotta take what we can get.
I'm
when
just
it
saying,
comes
like,
to
if you're saying
receivers and
somebody's
NFL
an
talent.
Also,
if you're
our
saying-
tight ends.
If you're saying somebody's an NFL receiver, you're saying like they're Jerry Jeudy, like that's an NFL receiver.
okay, but like that is
Only
so
'cause he went to
dis-
Alabama.
that is so disappointing. Like, it's disappointing we don't have a season, right? Terrible, but. We have the best skilled position players. If Petrus was an average quarterback, Goodson, ISM, Laporta, Brandon Smith, Tyrone Tracy.
Big nuts. Keith Duncan. That is the biggest upsetting thing
I
about
know.
the season.
If we don't get to see Keith
Oh,
Duncan,
If
No,
Keith
I didn't
Duncan
even think
doesn't
of
play in
that.
the NFL as a result of this, I'm going to be devastated because that guy is a stud.
So the
What was that crazy stat? He made more 40-plus yard field goals last year than any kicker in the NFL or college. Let that sink in. And the college only plays 12 games, 13 at most.
So
I mean, Iowa just couldn't finish their drives, but
yeah.
he still came up when we
They
needed
could
him.
finish their drives because of Keith.
I know,
That's true. I like that take better.
I know that we talked about this in the past, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit. About
Sounds like
him
we're
not-
gonna get deep into it.
No, just it's very little into it. So
That's what
how
she said.
Keith Duncan didn't win the Lou Groza Award.
Yeah.
So they gave it to Rodrigo Blankenship from
He didn't earn it.
Georgia.
They gave it to him.
Yeah, they did. But anyway, so the reasoning from the committee that they gave it to him is they said they looked at the 50-plus yard field goals that he made, and that was the difference. So Blankenship was
3 of 6.
3 of 6 from 50-plus yards. All 3 of them were exactly 50 yards. Fucking Duncan had like 5 field goals that were 49 yards.
Yeah.
So that was the difference maker, and it was literally 1 extra yard, and he was 50% on those kicks. So that was fucking bullshit, and I'm still not over that.
And his
Clones.
TikTok is off the charts great.
He's a good Twitter follow as well.
He is.
That's the best thing
Yes.
I've ever
Okay.
done.
I don't. We haven't talked about that, although they've had that access since June now. Allowing the players to have the voice now. It's like, welcome to this century, Iowa football program. Like, why wouldn't football players be able to represent themselves?
Yeah, football players, and not that basketball players were ever restricted, but isn't it great that J-Bo has a podcast now?
Yeah, it is.
That's unreal.
We should
I love it.
collab.
Yeah, we should collab.
Jordan, if you listen to this,
What's it called? Standpoint?
yeah,
Yeah. I haven't listened yet, but Tyler Cook was on this latest episode.
isn't that awesome? I just love it.
And
Fuck.
I love J-Bo. It would be like absolute like worst case scenario if like this college basketball season.
It's happening.
got
Grant
pro-
said.
Yeah, no, it will. But like if for whatever reason it got like
would.
canceled or postponed or whatever, and they gave everybody an extra year of eligibility, it would be fucking hilarious if J-Bo came back for his 7th year at Iowa 'cause
And beat
people are
Iowa
already-
State.
That'd be
Like
amazing.
Again!
people are already talking about how like he's like Iowa's Perry Ellis, like
Yeah,
feels like he's been
move
there for
over
fucking
Perry
ever.
Ellis.
If he was here for a 7th season, that would be hilarious.
yeah, but
Actually, would it just
I
be a
wonder
6th?
how many degrees would he have?
2016, Peter Jock's senior year.
Probably
Also,
98.6.
16, 17.
Speaking of when J-Bo started with Iowa, I saw today that Ahmad Wagner got cut by the Bears. So
Oof.
I didn't.
tough. Yeah, first
No
of all,
idea.
Didn't know. Remember? Didn't know that he was with them, but I saw that he got cut by them today. So
Jimmy
thoughts
Graham
and prayers
Will.
to
out,
Ahmad.
apparently.
anybody that's a tight end has a shot with the Bears. Didn't they have like 15
They
at one
had
point?
12 on the roster at one point.
Which I think Wagner should be more of a wide receiver.
He played tight end at Kentucky.
Yeah,
What? Is he 6'7"?
yeah, he was a power forward.
Very athletic. He,
Very athletic.
Just because you're tall doesn't mean you have to be tight end. Just go be like the biggest wide
I think-
receiver
yeah, just go
ever.
be Julio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not ready to call him.
Ahmad Wagner is Julio Jones.
Yeah, clearly.
If
If they would have given him a real shot.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the one thing you're gonna miss most about Saturdays in the fall?
Tailgate.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
Is there anything in specific, like in
Just
particular?
the whole.
Just the atmosphere, the
Yes.
feeling, like, oh, this is football
yeah,
season.
like I always loved waking up, sun's still down, and it's like
Yeah.
crisp outside with maybe a little frost on the
Oh.
ground. Oh man.
I literally talked about it already. It's getting up, waking up at 5:30 to fucking Black and Black, getting a beer, taking it into the shower, making a bomb ass breakfast, walking over to Melrose Avenue, just like drinking beers, having a good time. 11 o'clock kickoff, 2:30 kickoff, 6 o'clock kickoff. It doesn't matter. It's always just a fucking blast. There's 100,000 people in town that are here strictly to have a good time. You can, like, tailgating in Iowa City cannot be beat.
Yeah. Well,
For a slightly different perspective, I work for athletics, and I love tailgating when I'm not working. But like when I would work, like I was on the field and stuff. I'd raise the nets for field goals and stuff like that. And I was
brag.
looking through some snap memories, and I just saw a picture of me on the field, and like the stadium was packed, and like just think about how long it's been since you've been around people. That like idea of being in a sold out stadium
that's
just
what's-
seemed so foreign to me.
it's
and
never
so
gonna be
bizarre.
the same.
It won't be.
It will be the same. It's just not this year, maybe not next year, but we're gonna
years'
get a vaccine.
time,
It's
yeah,
gonna
for
get
sure.
figured out, and it will be the same. But I was thinking about this today. Think about you're in Kinnick, and somebody makes a big player. There's a touchdown.
I have
You're
physically
high-fiving-
tackled somebody in the stands
high-fiving
before.
everybody around you, and picture doing that now. It feels like a foreign concept.
You're gonna get people
Yeah,
looking at you
exactly.
funny, and like
You
you're
won't
gonna get,
though.
Yes.
Eventually, we'll get back to that.
Can you imagine
It's-
like how packed you are in the stands
Yeah.
and having to cough?
There is gonna be
Like, oh my god, all hell would break loose.
I
can't
agree with
imagine
Joey.
it.
It obviously it's not this year. Probably won't be next year. 2 years time from now, we'll have this. If we don't have this under control, we're as a society, as a world population, we're fucked.
Are you all right with herd immunization then? If
no,
like, 2 years
no,
down
it's
the
a
road-
vaccine.
Okay,
Oh,
it's not going to be herd immunity. It's either going to be a vaccine, or hopefully by that fucking time we'll have done enough mitigation efforts that it
Yeah.
won't be prevalent anymore.
Yeah.
But give it 2 years time. There's going to be 70,000 people in Kinnick, and if you're telling me if they're packed in there in Kinnick that people are, if I'm sitting shoulder to shoulder with somebody on the bleachers, and somebody's going to be afraid to give me a high five, that's not going to be the case. I guarantee
It's gonna be a them problem.
Yeah.
I hugged
I hope
somebody
so.
today. That was pretty exciting. That wasn't like my parents. That was like the first time I've hugged anybody in a long time.
Well, that's just a big trust thing on their part.
I know. Well, it was my godmother, so let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but it
Yeah.
was still exciting.
But no, the thing is, eventually, this goes on long enough. Say, God forbid, next time this year we're not tailgating, we're not going to
God.
games.
Christ.
God forbid, like I said, people are eventually gonna get sick of that and think, oh man, maybe I actually should wear this mask, and maybe I should take these precautions, and that is gonna help.
You're not
It's
like
gonna take time for some of these numbskulls to get it in their stupid brain that, hey, let's listen to these guidelines and we'll get this back.
Yeah,
That's
but there's
all it
always going to be
fucking
the
takes.
stubborn people that won't,
Okay,
and
but
that's wrong. That is wrong.
What I'm saying is-
90% of the population goes along with it. Like it doesn't have to be every single person. There's going to be like your 10% out there that just say fuck that. The government's trying to tell me what to do.
You're taking away my rights.
If even if like 80% of the people go along with it, it'll be enough for us to get over the hump of where it has to be like every time a case pops up, you have to shut down the whole fucking country.
I might be Mr. Fake News here, but I think I actually did see a statistic that said like if just 80% of people wore masks like all the time, like things could go back to normal in like a week, and that was really sad.
I know
That was really depressing.
and we're beating a dead horse here, but wearing a mask is not difficult.
Okay, but it's also like you're allowed to go to restaurants. You wear your mask to get to your table, right? And then you can take it off.
And then you're socially distanced, so the odds of you, or the percentage of you infecting somebody that's at a table at a minimum 6 feet away from you drops dramatically.
And when you leave that table, the restaurants, it's on the restaurants to sanitize that table and make sure that nothing is left behind there. And I'm sure the restaurants are on board with sanitizing and stuff because they want to be open. So
I get that it seems weird to be like, I have to wear a mask to walk in and sit down, but when I'm at the table I can take it off. But the reason is, there's regulations that say you have to space your tables or your booths out far enough apart so that way, when I'm sitting here, at my table and I don't have my mask on, I don't spread to the people that are also in there because they're far enough away that at that point it's not a problem.
And if Spencer Lee and Luca Garza's Twitter posts, Twitter interactions last week were not enough to make you do that, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel so bad for Spencer Lee.
Yeah, he is easily the...
Hawkeye Nation, do we
No one
really
is paid
do we
more for
really want to
COVID than
lose
Spencer Lee.
a second consecutive Iowa national championship in wrestling and Spencer Lee's second individual national championship? He was on track to be Iowa's first ever 4-time national champion wrestler. And that got taken away from him. Although I have seen some chatter that the Iowa wrestling and just like athletic program in general are going to petition the NCAA to try and get Spencer Lee an extra year of eligibility, and there's already been talk of like getting like high-level lawyers involved. I don't know how well that'll work. Just
put all the money into those lawyers.
He is so fucking good. He qualified like with ease. He didn't lose a single match in his United States Olympics wrestling qualifications for the 2020 Tokyo Games. He didn't lose a single match in
qualifying.
That is a
national championship in my eyes.
And that was against people that are like the best in the country past college level, and he kicked all their asses. So Spencer, I don't even know where I'm really going with this at this point, but just fucking do what
Spencer.
Everybody just do what you can so that way, like, we're in a kind of a sweet spot for Iowa athletics right now. We're competing, like, we have national championship caliber teams
we're
in multiple
very good.
different sports.
Multiple sports.
Very good.
So like, just do your parts, that way we can enjoy those experiences.
And also, so we don't have to see any more programs cut. Look at all of the student athletes that can no longer be student athletes because of this. Do it for them. It's
Has this
not
been talked about on here yet?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, the cuts only
definitely
happen
should.
like
While they are still minor sports, it's what they love and it's what they're going to college for, and they can only do it for a certain amount of time because there are many sports where you cannot advance and do this after college. So just do it for them, if anything else.
I just felt so bad too for a lot of kids who like grew up Iowa fans. They worked really hard and made the swimming team or something, and now they might have to transfer. Like,
Yeah, that's just brutal.
like they can't obviously like they'll get money from other schools and they can't do it here anymore. So it'd be dumb for them to stay.
Yeah, shout out
It's
to
so
Thelma
sad.
on the swimming team.
Oh, Thelma, what a woman!
No, but that's just terrible. And like that, it goes back to the Big Ten official or the leaders again for jumping on something that didn't necessarily needed to be jumped on until cases broke out or stuff actually started to happen. Instead, they jumped the gun thinking, oh, we'll be ahead of the trend, we'll be the trendsetters, and we only got the suckers from the West Coast to follow us, which is not saying a whole lot. So,
But also, have you noticed? So, I think the biggest pushback with the Big Ten's decision with postponing or canceling all fall sports has been that they have not released or given out any information on why they made their decision. In the Big 12, there has not been that type of pushback at all, or not the Big 12, the Pac-12. There hasn't been that type of pushback at all because right from the get-go, the Pac-12 is like, we're postponing the season. This is the information that we used to make our decision, and they gave it to everybody right away, and everybody in the Pac-12 is like, you know what? Yeah, okay, we can understand your reasoning. We agree with this. We go along with it. The Big Ten, on the other hand, has been as secretive as possible.
And-
like, there was such a long time where we didn't even know if, like, there was an actual vote by presidents and chancellors of universities. They didn't give out the medical information. They didn't give out who they even consulted
That's just
with.
what's driving me nuts because, okay, it's one thing to cancel the season. Super shitty. I get it. Whatever. But all's the fans and the schools and the athletes are looking for is transparency.
Yes.
And there's been zero of that. If you come out and say, this is what we were looking at, this is the information we were given, and this is why we made the decision, people are still going to be pissed, sure. But at least they know, instead of
Right.
you cock-teasing or
Yes.
tickling the balls a little bit the whole time. Like,
That is the biggest problem. If the Big Ten came out and said, this is the data we used, these are the people we consulted, this is why we made our decision, people would be upset, but they would accept it. People are upset and not accepting it because they're like, what did you make the decision on? You haven't shown us, like, actual good data on why this had to happen. And they're especially pissed off because 3 other Power 5 conferences said, we can do this, and it's not, like,
3 other Power 5 conferences, and one of which being in the South, which is where this thing is running rampant.
I mean, Iowa's making
No,
a claim
I
to
know,
that
but
title right
like
now.
Florida, obviously a hot spot. Like the whole entire South is not great on
So-
this.
They're not very pro-mask
Yeah.
people down there.
Wonder why. And this is going to get political, but
no.
our governor is not helping at all.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe does the Big Ten say no because they're like, oh, Iowa's gonna break out. They're gonna be a parasite.
one of my problems with all of this is that, like, universities or conferences being like, oh, well, we're seeing a spike in cases now. Well, yeah, no shit. You all insisted that you had students come back on campus, and the reason that you did that was so that you could charge them the full price for tuition, because if you do all online...
Shout out Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah. If you do that all online, you can't charge them the same price for having them on campus because you can't offer the same things. So you had, it just in one specific college, in any given college town, 30 to 60,000 18 to 22-year-olds come back onto campus with bars open, and then you didn't expect that after 5 months of being at home by themselves with their parents, they weren't going to show up and then go to bars, go to parties, do all these types of things that are horrible for the mitigation and spread of coronavirus, and then you see the number spikes, and everybody's like, well, why did this happen? Well, it happened because that's what college students do, and, like, I don't understand why anybody in a position of power at any university thought that anything besides what has happened was going to happen.
And it's not like, yeah, you can shut down the bars in the counties, whatever. But you're not going to stop college kids from drinking and, like, getting together. And
Unless you raise the drinking age to 38.
that's still stupid.
I will throw
Yeah,
a,
that is very
I will
dumb.
throw a bitch fit if the drinking age in Iowa gets raised.
to 24,
If-
25.
If me as
How
a
dumb would that be?
Yeah.
You're not stopping anybody. We've been drinking for 6 years now. That's not stopping anybody from drinking. There's gonna be parties. Whatever. Suspend the kids. What are you gonna stop them from going to their Zoom classes?
Yeah.
I think Austin was the one who said that might slow it down for a month before everybody gets their new fake IDs.
Yeah. No,
That's
me.
about
it
it.
was,
Yeah.
Joey said that
Yeah.
actually.
Oh yeah. So you're gonna raise the drinking age to 23? Yeah. There might be nobody at the bars for how long did it take? 38 days until we got our fakes.
And even then, that's just as effective. Like, kids drink in high school. Kids drink their first 2 years of college. It's not that difficult to access alcohol when you're underage if you want to get it. Raising the drinking age won't do squat.
I wonder if that'd have a big effect on China's economy if everybody needed a new fake ID.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
it would
wow.
be booming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Gotta think. We're playing
Big brain.
chess here, not checkers.
No, but yeah, there is no right way to do it though, unless you can mandate mask wearing throughout the whole state. That's probably the best you could do, right?
I mean, it would
Or just
definitely, it would definitely
not
help.
bring
if-
a couple dozen thousand kids to a university for
Well,
no reason when they could have all been online.
It's all because of money. That,
But no,
like, at the end of the day, it was a money issue.
I'm aware.
But the kids are going to be on campus either way because freshmen are in the dorms and some sophomore in the dorms, but everybody else pays to live here. So everybody's going to be here. I don't know.
I think I mostly mean they didn't. Did they need to bring the freshmen here if they were very transparent since like June or something? I mean, I don't know when all this stuff, all the paperwork and everything becomes official, but like if in like June or something they said, "Oh, this will all be online. You don't need to come here. Please don't." Like
They wouldn't. Like if the dorms are closed, the freshmen would have no choice, and it would absolutely blow for the freshmen.
it would be awful. I feel terrible for them.
I've been a freshman. I didn't even go here. I was here like 16 weekends my freshman year. It would suck so bad. But if it meant that sophomore through senior year, which in my I didn't go here freshman year. In my case, were the best, I would do it.
I mean, I'm a fifth year right now, and I can say my freshman year was easily the worst. Definitely the worst.
Yeah.
It got better every year.
Yeah, I don't know. But, like, even if you do mask mandate, and I know the big city people won't like the Des Moines residents, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Dubuque, Davenport, they won't like it, but
No, those
there's
people
no
would
way
be-
there's no way to unless you actually patrol sheriffs in the small communities and counties, which they're absolutely not going to do. There's no way you can control that.
the big city people are the ones that are fine with it.
Yeah, that are fine with it. Yeah, but
it's the small
It's the
towns.
small town people that don't think anything
'Cause
is
they
ever
th-
going to get them.
Yeah, their town is so small, it's never gonna come here.
Yeah, I was at work today, working at a person's house, and there was 2 young children in the backyard, and we went back there to do something outside, and I heard one kid say, he goes, "Don't get too close to them. They might have the virus." That's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah,
That's a good mindset to have in this case because that is how we're gonna get rid of this.
yeah.
And all the people that don't want to give up their rights, give me a fucking break. Your rights. You have to wear a mask. That's been commonplace in other cultures for years. If you went to this university, you noticed a lot of the foreign students wore masks just during flu season, or just all the time when they were in public.
I got a question. Do people I'm just not old enough to know it. Do people bitch about when seatbelts became
Yes,
a law?
I will guarantee
Yeah,
it.
I know. I've
was it
heard
the same
older
thing?
people, yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's a
Just
pretty
think about that.
fair comparison.
We're gonna look back at this in years and be like, man, that makes a lot of sense.
Literally, people wore masks. Like, everybody's like, oh, they didn't wear masks back in the day. During the Spanish flu in 1918, people wore masks back then to mitigate it. That fucking pandemic killed 50 million people worldwide. And the coronavirus has not killed that many, but people back then, even back then when they didn't have the science that we have today that could definitively prove hey, this will help. They were wearing masks back then. If they could do it then, we can do it now.
I feel like the same people that don't trust the doctors on the mask thing are the same people who would put 100% faith in those doctors if they had to be hospitalized
Yes.
for the COVID.
Yeah, oh, please save me. Oh, let's.
We need a new
I was
subject.
gonna say,
I'm
let's
done.
move on. We've
I don't
we've
want-
exhausted
Dead horse
every angle that we possibly could in the last
people definitely
45
don't want to listen
minutes
to this
on
anymore.
so.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
Let's can we talk just strictly about an Iowa athletic thing, or do we have a different
Should we go
topic
to
that we want
Busch
to move
Light?
on to?
do you want to jump to Busch
That's
Light now,
the
or do you want to
exact
talk
opposite, I
about
think.
I don't care. I have no agenda.
I don't know.
just one
Other
other
than wear
note
masks.
is we were going to go to the Minnesota game this year, the Friday night game,
that.
and obviously that's not happening. But we will be looking ahead to the future here. We're eyeballing that next season,
So, yeah,
and it's
so-
20. We got at Wisconsin and at Nebraska are 2, I would say.
So the schedule this. So next year, will we be at Minnesota?
yes.
no.
Is it just
No,
gonna
no,
be-
no, no, no.
It's- no, we just skip
we
that.
play in Ames
Skip
2
that.
times in
All
a
right.
row.
So where are we going next year?
Wisconsin.
No. We are going to Wisconsin?
Yeah, we
Yes.
go to Nebraska.
No, I'm talking about our trip.
Yeah, we go
Yes,
to Wisconsin or
and
Nebraska,
Nebraska
Northwestern.
are the two money away games. We're not going to go to Indiana because I just don't think Bloomington
Indiana's
is a
home.
very good.
I was
Oh,
wrong
okay.
about that, yeah.
Well, okay, we're not going to go to Northwestern because we were at Northwestern next year. Minnesota will be at home. Our crossover games, were Maryland. Just don't really feel like
Maryland's
going there
on the
because I
road.
don't think that would be a very great atmosphere. Although
No.
I would check
I don't
it out at
care
some
about
point.
that. I'm always
Um,
interested in seeing what other places are
Yeah,
like.
I mean,
That's-
our goal is
that's all.
and
to
then-
go to all of them.
Yeah,
so.
and then but
All
then
Big
we're
Ten?
also at Nebraska and Wisconsin, and from what I've heard, Madison is a very fun city to
Legit.
go out to,
I've-
and I think that it'd be fun to just go to Camp Randall. There's like not great blood between Iowa and Wisconsin. I think that it'd be a fun kind of rivalry to go to. So I think I think
I'd
that
probably jump around.
yeah, I think that'd be fun. So yeah, I think that Iowa Wisconsin next year is the game to go to.
From what I've understood, I feel like the Iowa-Wisconsin one, I don't think it's bad blood.
No, I don't
think
either.
it's just...
It's respect.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talked
I
about this
agree.
with
There's a lot
Hops.
of
respect,
We talked
yeah.
about this with Hops last time. Like,
Exactly.
It's
we're the same program except Wisconsin is a little
he
better.
called us he
Yes,
called us little
exactly.
brother, which I didn't appreciate, but I mean
It's true.
Wisconsin is
true.
Yeah,
typically what we hoped for in
no,
our season.
I've been on record multiple times in the podcast saying Wisconsin, like Iowa does what Wisconsin does, but just a little bit worse. Like Wisconsin is, like we try to do the same things, like dominate teams with running game and solid defense, and like over the years, Wisconsin has just been a little bit better at establishing those two things than Iowa has. So we run very similar schemes on both offense and defense. Just Wisconsin happens to be a little bit better. So yeah, I would say there's a lot of mutual respect between the both.
Except
of us
for
there.
basketball. They always
Oh,
have
yeah,
concepts.
basketball's
Don't even
strong.
get me started.
Yeah.
Wisconsin basketball makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm honestly surprised Austin got through that sentence without saying the word fucker. So I thought for sure we got a few of those coming, but he was teasing us there.
I was surprised how immediately unanimous that decision was. That
Their
do
style
not like
of
their basketball
basketball is just garbage. They're literally like, we're going to dribble the ball out on offense for 27 seconds
See,
and
Austin-
then get a shot up and score 63 points a game and be like, yeah, we're good. Fuck that. That's not how basketball should be played. It's not fun to watch. You cannot convince me that there's a single Wisconsin basketball fan that says, yeah, this is fun basketball to watch, because it's not. It's awful, and it's boring, and it's mind-numbing, and it's disgusting, and I hate everything about it.
See, Austin hates the style. I hate a lot of the players and Bo Ryan.
Don't get me wrong. I hate most of their players as well. Brad Davidson can get fucked.
There we go.
But more than their players, the thing that pisses me off the most is the type of basketball that they play. Basketball is supposed to be like this fast-paced, exciting, high-rising game, and Wisconsin is none of those things. They're like the complete opposite of it in every single facet of what basketball should be in the modern day.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was my Wisconsin basketball.
We'll probably
rant.
hear that again in a
Yeah,
couple of
Well, I mean,
months.
Wisconsin basketball is actually supposed to be pretty decent this year, so
Yeah,
I guess that there's going to be two very competitive Iowa-Wisconsin
Not as decent
basketball
as
games this year.
Iowa.
Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois are in a lot of top tens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you guys are regular listeners of the podcast, you've heard Austin's take on Wisconsin basketball at least once or twice. So.
Oh, minimum 2 times, probably 3 or 4.
But if you're new, there you
Now
go.
you know.
Now you know.
Y'all got anything basketball you want to talk about? How about the rumor that J-Bo put out last week that we were going to play in the Maui Invitational
Well,
this
that
year?
was just him asking.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
just
think that was
like,
a
Oh,
rumor.
was it?
Yeah, that wasn't a rumor. That was him basically being like,
All right,
hey,
I gotta find
Pac-12 teams are out. Iowa would love to do it.
Yeah.
That was much more of a him, like, kind of petitioning for Iowa to be invited.
I think he just wanted to go to Maui,
And-
which
yeah.
I 100
Yeah.
respect.
I saw they're thinking about moving
percent respect.
the Maui Invitational to North Carolina this year.
Ugh.
I'm
which
sorry.
that's
That's
odd.
sad.
I don't
Why?
understand why.
I feel like...
Maui
if-
doesn't want us to
I would
go
guess
there.
out
That's
of like
why.
any of the 50 United States, I feel like Hawaii was
Hawaii.
probably dealing with the pandemic better than most, just because they're so far away from everywhere.
They can
everywhere
reject
else.
people. I don't know if other states can
Right.
as well.
No, it definitely wasn't a rumor that we were going there. I think he was more or less just like petitioning like the runners of that tournament to be like, hey, Pac-12 is out. We can do it. Like, we're here.
I'm trying to find the tweet. Oh, it says, Aloha, Maui. Due to Pac-12 conference play delaying all sports until January 1st, Iowa Hoops kindly accepts Stanford's open slot for your tournament this season.
And is that some insider information by J-Bo saying that they're absolutely playing this year?
No. Also,
I mean,
His coach said it.
Yeah, okay. His coach and him can say that. As we've seen, all 14 athletic directors in the Big Ten said they wanted to play football, but only 3 of the presidents or chancellors voted for it. So obviously all the coaches and players are for it because that's literally what they do. They play and or coach that sport. They're not going to be like, you know what? Actually, we feel like taking this year off.
Also, am I dumb or why did he single out Stanford when he said
I don't know.
Because they're
that was the
Pac-12. That's who's in
That
it.
was the specific.
Oh, they were the only
yeah,
Pac-12
Yeah, that was
team.
the specific
Okay,
Pac-12 team that was
I was a little
invited to that
curious
tournament.
as well, Ross.
Oh, I'm not the only dumbass.
No, that's not a dumbass thing.
I
That's,
mean, I think it was kind
it's
of
not
obvious.
common knowledge that Stanford is in the Maui Invitational.
Okay, but to think,
I didn't say it was.
No, Austin did.
I'm just saying, like, if he singled out that program, it didn't take a whole lot of
Yes.
mental strings to be like.
I could have done my research.
They were
You're right.
probably the one team from the Pac-12 that was invited
Just
to that
spitballing here.
specific
Big Ten should do a challenge against the ACC.
Oh,
What are your thoughts? Shut up.
Now you're cooking with fire here.
I
Well,
love it.
hear me out.
ACC is so overrated.
We pick
Let's
up
go.
something with the Big East and call it the Gavitt Games.
Oh my God, a genius sitting to my left.
Yeah, we're
We
on
have
to
struck
something.
gold here.
I miss the old Iowa Classic.
Yeah, that's
The
dumb
Big
that they
Four?
got to
Yeah,
that.
the Big Four.
I mean, you
the
play.
Big Two and
Why did they
two
get rid of
halves.
that? Because no matter who you play in that, it's pretty much
money,
good unless you play
money
Drake.
reasons.
No,
Basically, Iowa and
UNI
Drake
is a
can be
tournament
okay
team.
one time,
Drake is
sometimes.
not.
Yes.
So the team
okay.
that plays Drake gets
But
absolutely
getting
bread,
out
but
of
we
that
still play
allowed
Iowa
us
State
to
no matter
pick up
what.
the tournament in Chicago this year where we
never
faced
played.
Cincinnati.
Oh, you're saying like outside.
No
of
matter
that.
what,
yeah,
we
okay.
play Iowa State. So
I
we either
think-
play UNI
I
or Drake,
think
which is a tough
basically-
matchup either way.
So,
but
from what I understand, the
Shouldn't
reason
be tough,
the
but
reason that they canceled the
it
Big
usually
Four
is.
Classic was that monetary reasons. Basically, Iowa and Iowa State were paying like UNI and Drake to come to that, and they kind of just decided, why are we doing that? Like, what purpose does this serve us?
bragging rights.
well,
It's
bragging
a
rights,
Hawkeye
but-
State.
But like I
I
said,
will
if you
say-
play UNI, that's a tough game. They're a
UNI
tournament
fans
team.
got really fucking cocky last year about like Iowa having to come to UNI to play a game. First of all, no. The McLeod Center, well, nice, holds like
It's-
5,000
nice,
people.
but it
I'm
is
not
tiny.
okay. I'm not. North Carolina went there when they were number 7 in the country or number 1 in the
Number
country a
one,
few
yeah.
a few years ago. Why? Like,
if you're Iowa, what incentive do you have to go and play there?
what does North Carolina?
They make the tournament once every 4 years.
So have them come to Iowa City, where you have a stadium or an arena that holds 15,000 people. Like, if you go to UNI,
that makes
and
it even better for us, right? Because we go there and still win.
Okay, but no, if you go there and lose,
It's like
you
playing
went,
North Dakota State.
Yeah, if you go there and lose, you went to an FCS school, or not an FCS school, but like you like a much lower tier school, and you lost. But if you go there and win, the narrative is, well, they should have kicked their ass anyway. You do not play UNI unless they come to Iowa City.
yeah. See,
to play that
I'm
basketball
all right
game.
with not playing UNI because that allowed us to go to Chicago and play Cincinnati last year, which is significantly better. We barely beat.
Rubbed.
We barely beat them.
Hey, UNI is just a fun game. A lot of respect
Yeah,
for
no,
UNI. So it's fun.
Their fans are
Also,
cocks.
I don't want to go there. I want them to come
Yeah, no,
to
I would
us.
much rather play UNI than fucking Bryant for our second game. If you get rid of Bryant and play UNI every year,
You know,
I would take that
Better
every year.
losing to who the fuck was it last year? DePaul.
The Depot.
Okay,
Yes, that
DePaul
was
shot
bad.
67%.
That was a lucky game. That was, but also,
Also,
DePaul
I was-
was hot.
I was working that game, and I remember immediately after I was cleaning up around the away bench, and I asked one of the coaches, I'm like, "Can I see one of your stat sheets? What the hell did you guys shoot tonight?" And he handed it to me. I just looked at him like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, no,
What?
like there was nothing Iowa could do. Like They
shot like 67% from three.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I specifically remember Iowa like hand in face on every shot. Like it was good defense and everything, and just bang, 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 bang.
What were we down? 19-2.
I don't want to know.
It was bad.
We were also.
I got
losing.
that shooter's
did the old-
memory, baby. It's gone.
I did the old StubHub trick that game, where I looked up the seats that weren't taken and went and moved to those, and I was sitting front row for that ass.
Yeah, you were right behind me. I remember that.
Maybe to get some good mojo flowing our way with the whole coronavirus thing, maybe we should book a hotel for the Big Ten tournament this spring.
I'm
and
in.
see.
Where is it?
Just put our
It'd
name
probably
down.
It's always played.
Does
No,
it exist?
It was,
No,
in,
it goes
it was
Chicago.
supposed to be in
It was in
Chicago this year.
DC, then it was Chicago this year. It might be in
Indy?
Indianapolis.
No.
No, it was supposed to be in Chicago this upcoming year.
Well, don't book until you know it exists.
It exists. We're playing basketball.
Actually,
I
was told
hope
today
so.
the dates
I'm gonna
aren't
be
set.
negative, so that
The
way
dates
I'm
might
less
not be set,
disappointed.
but we are playing. Luka Garza is playing.
Yeah. Also, I just want to.
I'll go out there and post up against Luka Garza 1-on-1 just
Yeah.
so he gets some game
We'll get
time
a team
this year.
Yeah. Luka, if you're listening to this, we'll get a 5-on-5 game. We'll take you guys on. We'll keep you in shape.
Yeah, we'll get her going.
We might kick your ass, but
Yeah, don't take it to heart.
Yeah,
Just one thing I want to circle
we got
back on
shooters
here,
out here.
here right
That's it.
quick. I appreciate UNI as a basketball program. I like them a lot. I don't want anybody out here to think that like I'm hating on UNI. I'm just saying that in terms of playing basketball, Iowa should never have to go to UNI to play a game to prove anything. If they're going to play that game, UNI should come to Iowa. I like UNI as a program. I like a lot of their players. I'm just saying, I think that if that game happens in the future, there's no reason for Iowa to go to UNI to play that
but
game.
also
Hold on, let's humble brag here. We know one of their players. We went to high school.
Well,
with
we
them.
did.
Used to.
He's no longer
Retired.
a player.
but also Austin,
Number
Tomato,
in the
tomato.
rafters.
would you rather have a game on the resume where we went to UNI and beat them, or a game in December where we just absolutely murder Bryant?
Yes, that.
You'd rather have the Bryant thing.
Our schedules are getting more and more difficult every year. It's not like we need the assistance.
Every single program in the country has 10 non-conference games against absolute schlubs where they just beat the shit out of them. That's just how it is.
And like that game could get
Yeah, but if you had to
hypothetically,
choose-
it could get physical, and like you don't really want to lose players. Like
I don't even care about that. I'm just saying, what purpose does it serve Iowa to go and play a game at UNI?
it's a tournament team that you beat.
They're a
At
tournament,
their home.
They're a tournament team once every 3 years.
yeah, they're
That's
not a
good.
perennial-
That is so.
That-
If people see you and I, they're like, "Oh, you and I plays in the tournament once in a while." You see Bryant, you don't see that. You don't think, "Oh, hey, I've seen Bryant in the tournament." When's the last time Bryant made the
I'm
tournament?
just saying, it's not the same as being like, oh, we went and played at Dayton or something like that.
Okay, Joey, the resume. Look at it last year. Say we played UNI and we beat them. Or you can look and we played a ranked Cincinnati team and we beat them. What looks better at the end of the year?
Okay, but you could say the same thing for you and I, and then some schlub that
Joey,
we
we're not going to go out there and schedule tough.
We scheduled
like,
Seton Hall and we got our asses kicked.
that was part of the GABA games that we just created.
That was just part of our creation and nothing else that's ever happened in Big Ten.
That was like the same
basketball
thing-
history.
You and I could also easily be ranked. Like if we schedule them, like I don't know, like a month into the season, and they weren't at the beginning of the season or something. I don't know. They could be. We just don't know.
I don't know.
They're a borderline team.
Yeah.
I am all for playing them. I just think that if
Yeah,
we
I'll-
play them, it should be in Iowa City.
And like I think this goes
I
for
think
everybody
that's
here.
strictly an arena thing. I don't want to play with 5,000 fans. That's no fun.
Yeah.
if you're gonna if it's I guess I don't know exactly if it's the same like contracts for basketball as it is for football, but like in football, if we play UNI, we pay them between like $500,000 and $1 million to play that game. If we're going to be paying them money,
Yeah.
they need to
Yeah,
be
that's
playing
bullshit.
in Iowa City. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's
no,
the same
that's
for
fair.
basketball as it is for football.
Not
I mean,
that
the
much.
numbers
Oh,
are
is it-
not the
is it-
same, but I think the concept
Is it your money?
Oh my God, Joey, we're not doing that. We're not jumping
It's
into
the football
that
team's
argument.
money, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. If we're being
Yeah.
honest.
So this year maybe not because there's no football revenue, but after this,
Sign 'em
Schedule them
up.
every year. I'll play you and I every year.
All right. Any
Well, you
other?
guys all graduated. It's just my money, I think.
No, it's not. It's completely separate funds.
We're
That's
not
what
doing
they tell
this.
ya. I'm just kidding. I don't care.
Any other basketball notes?
I had one. I lost it.
All right. So now we're gonna do a
You guys see AB got blown by...
Oh my
Joby.
Whoa!
no.
Hey, now.
We're gonna power rank our favorite Busch Light cans that they have had over the years. Just what do we say? 4, right?
Yes.
Ross
Top
is
four.
Googling
Okay.
Busch
But
Light cans.
before we
Hey, I did earlier too. I did my research. I'm just redoing it.
before we jump to that, you guys remember the last time when we were talking on the Luca Garza podcast how we power ranked our days of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
sucks.
said that there's this one person out there that's still listening to it.
I was right.
So
Say his name.
Hawkeye Tailgate Report super fan Lucas Lee messaged me and he said, "Out traveling today. Hear my name on the podcast. Laugh out loud. That was great. You can report this on the podcast on the next podcast." And then he said, "Here's my ranking for days of the week." He went Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. So he just went in reverse, basically.
That's. He's saying
That's
that
a low Sunday.
is his worst day of the week?
Like, I'm not a big fan of Sundays, but it's
Lucas,
certain.
hear me out here.
Sundays are
Do you-
still like top 4
yeah,
at
Lucas,
minimum.
Lucas, hear me out here. Do you have to work on Sunday? No, that immediately makes it not the worst day of the week.
Are we playing football?
Yes.
No.
Do I currently have a pulse? Yes.
Yeah. No, so shout out to Lucas. I told him I'd plug that in there.
I was also listening. To be fair, I made it that far.
Would you like to throw in your days of the week?
Not really. I don't really care. Saturday is great. Fridays are great. I'm mostly thinking about my schedule for this semester. Mondays are actually not bad. I have 1 class.
Yeah, I've
so
grown
it's
to
like
not hate
Saturday,
Mondays.
Sunday, Friday, Monday. I don't know, something like that.
we just came to agreement that Tuesday is just the fucking worst.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Tuesdays blow.
Monday can be
because
alright.
there's no
like
end in sight.
Yeah, like Mondays can be alright because like you can take it into a long weekend, or it can be like fresh start for the week. Like I got this going for me, or whatever. Tuesday is just like, fuck. I got 4 days until the weekend. Like
Labor Day is never on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
am I right?
Exactly.
We also had another guy, Adam Halter at IA Punk at HTR Pod. I was that guy. Was driving, and my answer is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Wednesday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Wait,
Hashtag
the
go
full
Hawks.
thing, yeah.
That's
That's solid.
a solid
yeah,
list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out to him.
Also, yeah, shout out Adam
He
Halter.
knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, good list.
That is one guy that knows what is going on.
Also, I just forgot about this. We're not going to be able to do any ticket giveaways this year, which
Sorry.
We'll think of something else. How about this?
Sorry.
If this
Bracelet giveaway.
T-shirts.
No, if there is like virtual fans at basketball games this year, which I doubt. I mean, the bubble has it. Look at NBA playoffs.
That's
Oh yeah,
pretty
it's
advanced for
different.
college.
So if
It's one specific area.
there's-
there is, we could get some sponsors and then buy a seat and hold up their sign or something. Or
let's buy a whole
advertise them
suite.
during
Maybe
the
we
game.
can try and get
let's
Busch
buy
Light.
the whole front row and advertise our sponsors.
I don't think that's gonna be a thing that happens.
If it does, we'll keep it in mind.
If it does,
okay.
I'll keep my promise.
All right, Busch Light time.
Busch Light, who would
Yeah.
like to go first? Start with your fourth
Can
one.
I? Okay.
Or who wants
Do you
to-
want to
Yeah,
all do
no.
4
Yeah,
or
no,
Everybody.
everybody
No,
gives
yeah,
a list?
no. How about we go around and
Okay,
give
all
our
right.
fourth? Starting, Nubbs goes. Ross, you're first.
Oh, Ross is
All right, I
first.
think I
And
lost.
we'll go counterclockwise. 'cause
My
Austin
number
was-
4 was the old school classic cans. Now there might be some old heads that
Hold on a second. Are we doing the best tasting cans?
No.
oh
No,
taste. No, I'm
No,
not.
just
It
base it on
purely
whatever
looks.
you want.
Okay,
Whatever you
or
want.
whatever. we
Purely
want.
looks.
Okay.
There is
I
a difference in
suppose.
taste.
Yes, there is.
The
I
orange
agree.
I mean,
ones are terrible.
I'm calling these old. I'm 23. There's gonna be some old heads who might have a can.
I think you're talking
Past
about like
this.
2016, 2015.
Yeah, the ones with the silver mountains and the dark blue sky behind it, which was the top of
Yeah,
the can,
okay.
was the dark navy blue. That was my number 4. They're beautiful, and sometimes I see them like in a roadside ditch or a trash can or something
Where
somewhere.
Where did you come from?
I'm small town
Okay.
Iowa.
No,
man.
I'm talking about the can. Like, Where have you been?
Oh, yes, okay. And I'm just like, wow, I totally forgot about those. Those are beautiful.
Those were a good can.
They're solid. They're a good can. That's my number 4.
It's a good one.
pick,
All right.
pick.
My number 4 can is also coincidentally the number 4 Kevin Harvick
Yep.
racing
It's
can.
a good one.
That's a good
That's
can.
a good can. Would you like to elaborate or?
Well, it was just a good pattern. You had like the checkered flag on it. It was just, you had the car. It was just a good solid can.
I'll go next because I had the same one as Austin there. I had the Kevin Harvick can. Because that was just a unique can.
It was unique. It was solid.
The beer tasted fine. It tasted the same.
It was a good one.
There's no difference. And Kevin Harvick, I mean, who doesn't like Kevin Harvick? I don't even like racing. I used to like racing a lot.
Yeah.
Tony Stewart.
Till he killed
I was
the
a
guy.
big Tony Stewart. Yeah, Tony Stewart did kill a guy. But yeah, the Kevin Harvick cans are just a solid can all across the board.
All right, my 4th one. I think I'm gonna go with just the relatively new latte cans. I think it's a solid design. Everybody got the thrill of having Busch Latte on a can, and then
So
I
it's
think
not
they
the same.
taste pretty well too. Taste pretty good. So that's my 4th pick.
That's a good pick. The latte
So
cans
it's
are good.
It's not a Busch Latte.
All right, Russ. What about you?
3.
For
Number
3.
three.
Yeah.
My number 3. That's kind of tough. I think my number 3. I don't know. Maybe I'm too young, but I was gonna say the orange ones with the bucks on them, or the
big buck
pheasants and
under
stuff.
Coming
cans?
from the Bucks fan.
Like the first year,
Yes, I am
first
a Bucks fan.
first year version of them, the orange hunting cans.
I liked the Bucks. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 years ago. I think it was 1 year ago, where there was a deer on it and it had one of those QR codes. I think, honest
Yeah.
to God, that was the first QR code I've ever scanned to see what it does.
Big buck hunting.
Little did you know.
And it brought me to a little Big Buck Hunter game on my phone. And I love Big Buck Hunter. Super fun game. Love it. I have like the little plug and play one you can play on your
I
TV.
do have a lot of records on that.
Yeah, Stin's a little cocksucker and he broke a lot of my records. But anyways,
I'm kind of a champion at it.
the phone game was a little underwhelming, but it was still pretty fun. Cool can. I liked the looks of them.
Okay,
Yeah, that's about all I got to say
so
about
what were
that.
your 2 so far? The old one and the hunting one, right?
Number 4 was the old navy blue, like dark blue ones. And then number 3 was the Big Buck Hunter Pro one.
Okay, so when you guys go, say what your last pick was first, and then
All right. So my number 4 pick.
speaking
What?
of the mic, Billy.
Sorry. So my number 4 pick.
Not that much.
Don't eat it.
My number 4 pick was the number 4 Kevin Harvick can.
Solid can.
Yeah. And my number 3 pick is the kind of limited edition, not out all the time, Busch Latte can. They've come in more recently in the last like year and a half. The last 30 pack that I bought was a Busch Latte 30
Same
pack.
as Luke's number 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same as his number 4. I'm putting up to my number 3, the Busch Latte. I like the look of those cans. I like the lettering for the latte. It just speaks to me.
Another thing I like about that can is that they listen to the people. Like, people have been calling it that for a long
Yeah,
time.
a
and so they
long
finally
time,
do
yeah.
it. And respect to Bush for
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
Can I just say, I'm going to open up myself to hate here. I've never thought that was very funny when people are like, "Oh, give me a Busch Latte."
Well, it's
like,
not
I'm
that-
like,
it's
that
not that
joke
it's
is
like
so
a-
worn out and old. But
Yeah,
respect to the brand for like.
I never
committing
said.
to it.
I don't think I ever called it a. I would always just say, like blue yummies or blue
I mean,
smoothies or.
I never like.
That's funnier to me because that's original.
I never asked somebody to give me a Busch Latte, but if I was talking about Busch Latte, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's a God's water. It's a Busch Latte. Like it's a blue smoothie." Like I'd say things like that. I never like if somebody was going to the fridge, I wouldn't be like, "Hey, get me a Busch Latte." But I absolutely had referred to a Busch Light in the past as a Busch Latte.
If you shake up your vocabulary a bit, I have no problems. But people that strictly called it
Yeah,
a Busch
that's
Latte
upsetting.
and looked for a laugh every time they said it
Huh?
drove me
Huh?
nuts.
Latte?
Exactly. Thank you.
All right, Joey, what's your pick?
Number 3, I'm going with the one that Ross had as his number 4, the one with the dark blue at the top. Just a classic old, right before they started doing all this fun stuff and changing it up all the time. That's my number 3, the Busch Light. I'll call it the original because that's when I first knew it. So
I'm coming in with an original here as well, and or not an original, limited time, and it's the
Exact opposite.
Busch Apple.
I've only ever had one of those. It was
pretty.
delicious, but I've only ever had one so far.
Solid can.
It's impossible to find.
Solid can. My one fear was that it was going to be too sweet, not too sweet. And honestly, if you don't like beer that much, I don't think there's much of a beer aftertaste either. So I think it's like a perfect beer for that.
Yeah, they nailed the apple thing because like Reds and like Angry Orchard is all way too sugary and strong. But with the Busch Light apple, it's like perfect. I've only had one, but like Austin said, my biggest gripe is that they only like you could only buy them for a week.
They announced them. I had literally one can of it, and I have not seen it in stores since.
Well, I know like in Dyersville, there's a couple grocery stores there, and one of the stores was completely sold out very, very quick. But there was the highway or the new Hy-Vee store, Quick and Fresh or whatever up there, that he called and they had a few in stock. One of my friends did. Shout out Jacob Baumhover.
I'm really happy you guys all enjoyed your apples, but you mean aesthetically, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you liked the look of the
The
can?
look of the can is
The
clean.
look of the can is so crispy.
My one one statement here, they should have released it. It would have been like the perfect October.
Absolutely.
But I think that's part of their thing. Like, they release it, and maybe this is why you could only get it for, like, a week. They released it so everybody could get a taste, and now, like, in the fall, it's going to be boom.
Kind of see how well it played, and then once, like, real apple orchard season comes in, then they'll put a shitload of it out there.
I'd look for it in,
hope
like,
so.
a month. I'd look for it coming up.
Okay.
All right, Ross, you're number 2.
Am I up next? My number 2 is the cans that had the fish on them, because I think it just takes me back to simpler times. It really does. Because I remember graduating from high school, and I remember we bought 30 packs for my graduation party. Because where I'm from, if you run out of beer, people aren't going to be at your party anymore.
They're leaving.
They're leaving. People won't show up. But I just remember I'm disappointed because we bought 30 packs, not a single golden fish. But I also loved the fact that if anybody near your hometown got a golden fish can, you were going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Everybody knew who got. I can still tell you, it was, 4.5 years ago?
At least.
And I
Oh,
know
more than
Dylan
that.
Massey
More than
had a
that.
golden fish can. I won't.
We have breaking news. We have 1,700 Facebook likes. We just
Oh!
crossed the threshold. Well done, everybody. Well done.
That's substantial.
It's a big number. It's bigger than our Twitter number, so
But-
let's work on that too. All right,
I
Ross.
just got to ask. Who do you guys know that had a goldfish can? Because I know for a fact you know at least one person who did.
Listen.
And you absolutely remember it.
Yours truly was present for a goldfish can.
It was vacation,
pulled
right?
It was vacation 2016? I believe, yes. I think it was 2016. I'll
That
pull up
would
the
be
picture.
just 4 years ago.
It was not. It was like towards the tail end because we got the golden fish can. Me and Al Heiberger, my uncle, great man. We got it, and I was like reading the thing on the box, and it said that the competition was over, so we couldn't win anything. But it was.
You
still
put that
very
on a
cool.
shelf.
No, he has it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
he has it at Cobra
We
Lanes.
fake drank it. I have pictures of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. So, for my number 2 Busch Light can, it's very similar to one that Ross, and I'm not sure if it was Joey or Luke said, but so it's the old throwback can with like the nice like dark blue top and the mountains on it.
Me and Ross both had that one.
Yeah. It's not the exact same though. So it's the one that's like that can, but it's got the ice cold easy indicator on the front. So it's kind of like the Coors Light
They
when the
stole it.
mountains turned blue, but it was the little thermometer and that turned blue when the beer was at the ideal temperature to drink. That's my number 2.
Science.
Because it was just an iconic look for the can, but it had that little bit of extra flair to it where you're like, if I'm going to grab this, I know for sure that it's optimal drinking temperature. And that was just an absolutely spot-on can.
That is solid.
That is a good can.
I
Wow.
would take those back in a heartbeat. Can we? The standard Busch Light cans now, not a huge fan of.
I like them a
it was
lot.
cool. It was cool at
It's
first.
a classical, like
They're-
old school look. I feel.
I
They're
like,
my number 5, I think.
Yeah, no, I like the
solid.
current Busch Light cans a lot.
They're pretty.
Notice,
take her home.
notice that we're all
After
either
a date.
millennials or Gen Z, so all these cans are within the last 20 years.
Yeah.
15, probably.
20 is just...
Yeah, 10 years.
Honestly, the last 10 years, and even that's 10 years for me would be at 13 years old. So honestly, we're talking more like the last 7 years.
So yeah, stay out of our ears, all you old heads. We know there's a lot of great cans before our time.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
they
those
used-
are gas.
Those are
Wow.
sick. Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure Dale Earnhardt might have had one at a certain point.
Probably.
But I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he was the goat of his sport.
All right, hey Luke, you're number 2.
No,
No,
it's me.
Joey.
Joey.
My number 2, I'm going to go with, who had the apple? Was that
Me.
you, Ross?
Ross.
That was my
That was
3.
Luke.
Oh.
Luke. Yeah, the apple cans is just such a transition, and it is a different beer than just regular Busch Light, so I didn't know if this would qualify.
We're talking about the cans. This is the one. The can is the ranking that we're going on.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
so-
I had flavor.
Pretty.
The red absolutely hits, but it's not only that, they have the mountain tips as red also. Like, it's white, and then the red mountain.
Yeah, those are nice.
It just... It's
beautiful
awesome.
can,
It's a great can, and I hope that they come around every year. So,
All right, my 4 and 3 were the latte and the apple, and my number 2, Kevin Harvick. I don't know what it is. I have It looks good. They have him standing on the can there. It looks real nice. I just think it tastes good out of the can too, and I can't tell you what it is. And yes, you can argue with me that Busch Lights don't have different taste. I'm gonna call you a liar because I know for a fact those orange hunting cans, first edition, were easily the worst Busch Lights I've ever drank in my life.
yeah. That and I won't say it because I'll save it for the end in case somebody has it, but there's a take coming at the end.
I think I agree with your take if I know where this is going.
All right, Ross, your number 1
Oh man,
Busch Light
what a
can.
time!
All right, so my number 4 was the classic Silver Mountains with the dark blue, the navy blue sky up at the rim. My number 3 was the Big Buck Hunter Pro. My number 2 was the... I already forgot.
Fish cans.
The fish cans, yeah, absolute classic. And my number 1, this could be some recency bias, but God, I love the corn cob cans. They're beautiful. It's a total homer pick. 'Cause it's fan service. They're just like, we know Iowa people love Busch Light.
And they drink
What
a
are they
shit ton of
Yes.
Busch Light.
So we're going to give them corn cob cans. And
I do.
I'm getting flack for this. I can already hear the moans and groans. But I don't care.
Okay.
I'm just all in on
So-
them being like,
I like the way they
leaning
look.
into the Iowa drinking.
All right. I'll say this. I am not a huge fan of the look of the corn cob cans. They just don't do it for me. But I just saw this week that Busch Light is releasing the corn cob 16-ounce aluminum
bottles. Yeah, I saw
And
some
I
tonight.
am fucking here for that.
So quit hating on me, man.
I don't like the can. It just
the aluminum bottles is the best.
It doesn't do
best
it for
way to
me.
have a beer.
The 16-ounce aluminum bottles smack so hard.
Bud Light aluminum bottles is like easily my top 3 beer.
Well, see,
Michelob Ultra aluminum
Yes,
bottle
that's what-
hits
so-
so hard.
I don't go to a lot
I'm
of bars.
big Budweiser aluminum bottle.
Anything in aluminum.
Aluminum bottle,
16 ounce
yeah.
bottle, 16-ounce bottle
Yeah.
with the screw-on lid.
Yep. Oh my god.
I mean,
it hits so
if
hard.
you want, I would never, but if you want, you could screw the lid back on and save it for later.
Yeah.
I go to
And
Cobra
it's so
Lanes a
cool.
lot in Farley, Iowa. Go check them out. Great bowling alley, family fun center. But
sponsor.
yeah, but that they always have Michelob aluminum bottles in there, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that drinks those there.
They
Well,
hit
mainly
hard.
because they push a lot of Busch Light out the door, but
Absolutely.
but those are phenomenal.
A 16-ounce aluminum bottle is the ideal alcoholic beverage dispensing method.
And I don't-
It's just the best.
I don't know how it stays so cold. That thing seems like it could sit out all day and be cold.
It's like an ice cube,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay,
It's unreal.
But for my final note, can we all just agree that Busch Light leaning into who their fans are
Oh,
is a
absolutely.
good
you
thing
bang the
every
classics.
time.
You pander to
Busch
the
Light-
crowd.
Busch Light
Exactly.
knows what their crowd is, and they advertise to
And
it.
I'll fully admit, it could be recency bias too, but the corn cans are hilarious. I love it, and I'm all in.
Yeah, I respect the pick. The corn cans, they just don't do it for me. I don't know what it is. I haven't been a huge fan of them since they came out. Nothing against it. I like the reason that they're here for. They just don't do it for me.
To each their own.
Yeah. But my number 1 can, it's easily my number one, without a doubt. From day one, they've been my number one. It's the Fish Bush Light cans. Specific.
Round of applause for
yeah.
Austin's number one, everybody.
Yeah.
That's a great can.
Yeah, specifically.
Austin's number one. That was my number two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it wasn't
but
your
it
number
was your
one.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah. Specifically, give me a sockeye salmon Bush
Oh my
Light.
God.
And you will never find a better beer in the entire world than the sockeye salmon Bush Light. I mean, to this day, I don't understand why they have not reproduced those cans, because they were the best Bush Light best beer cans of all time, for what it's worth. Like, you cannot convince me that there's a better beer can that's ever been made. Give me a sockeye salmon every day of the week, and I will be a happy camper.
I might as well interrupt here because I'm next, right?
Yeah.
And that's also my number one. I was going to say specifically the sockeye salmon.
Yeah.
Because none of us,
look at that.
if you live in Iowa,
it's
you've never caught a sockeye salmon. You don't even know what it
fucking
is.
can.
But something about that can is just glorious. And they tasted
Oh, man. It's
so
it's
good.
The best Bush
You know,
Light can of all time.
I said the corn cob one was fan service, but who's a bigger fan of drinking Bush Light than people who like to fish? You know?
Yeah.
You're
It's
right.
the exact same
And
thing.
especially since they made
They're doing the same
fish
thing, and
for
it's
different
pretty bullshit.
regions.
They had, what was it, 4 different fish?
Here's what it is.
Largemouth bass, sockeye salmon.
cutthroat trout, largemouth bass, red drum, and sockeye salmon.
Oh,
And there was a
man.
white
White
crappie
crappie.
that was limited.
God
yeah.
damn it, bring those back, Bush Light.
Yeah, they have to at some point.
Okay, so we might as well get this out of the way. Joey, this
That
is your
was
number
still
one,
the
too.
Yeah,
Navy
And that's
Blue
my
Sky
number one,
days.
too.
So 3 out of 4 number ones is the fish cans, and
Yeah.
I just don't think it'll be outdone.
No, I don't think it can
That was
be.
my number two, so it's...
God,
Yeah.
those were
I feel
so...
like-
What's
You
that?
guys
What's that?
make me feel like I
1.2
fucked up.
1.25 total ranking? It was our number
Oh,
one
yeah.
and Ross's number
Yeah.
2, so 1.25.
It's easy. Yeah.
It
and
makes it seem like it was a low ranking,
like
though.
pulling a
But-
gold can. As an Iowan pulling a gold can, it's almost like winning a little lottery. Like
Oh,
if you were,
absolutely.
it's
Not even
special.
Not even just an Iowan, especially an Iowan, but anybody that drinks Busch Light. It's
Oh, God, those cans were so good.
so good.
God, they were so good.
So good.
okay. Does anybody?
I feel sorry for you guys. You're not the same grade as me, so you couldn't have them at your graduation party. Because I'll just never forget buying 30 of those and just
I think
begging
it was-
for a gold can.
I think that was before my graduation
Yeah,
party.
no. It was after. It was like the summer we graduated. They might have still been
It was
around.
the summer I graduated.
We may have to fact check.
I don't know.
Somebody crunch some numbers
but
here.
all I know is those things.
Those were the best cans of
They
all
clapped.
time.
I,
Best
Chef's
beer
kiss.
can
Mwah.
of all time.
okay, Joey. Let's get to this take because I'm pretty sure I agree with you here.
So my take was that the corn cans, while maybe cool, tasted like ass.
Yeah, I don't think they taste as good.
And you might think that sounds weird, but the color of the can have an effect on the taste.
Can.
It just
Alright.
I don't know what it is. I like the orange hunty can terrible.
There's
This one I love the can. I hated the beer.
there's a corn can sitting up in our fridge that nobody will drink.
I will. Why am I drinking a Natty Daddy right now? What? I didn't know that was there.
You've been milking that thing like a cow for a
Yeah,
few
you've had
hours
that
now,
for like
Ross.
This is
3
a tall
hours
boy.
at this
Grow up.
It's a silo.
But
Learn your
anyways,
terminology.
Hold on. I just want to say I looked it up. The fish cans began on May 8th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
That seems
That
right.
was
when they started.
Yeah, Joey, that was over a year past our high school graduation.
Yeah.
But didn't it seem like we were drinking those? Whatever, I don't care. They're the best can.
Yeah.
I might have been drinking. Well,
You didn't
so-
drink till
So when I graduated high school, I was drinking my number 3, the standard old Busch Light cans, which were also awesome. So maybe that's where the confusion is.
Could be.
True.
All right. Anybody got any other hot takes here?
I think we've had a lot of hot takes.
I got
on this
one.
Episode.
It's not really my hot take, but it's Luke's. Luke told me earlier tonight that Chris Paul has done more for the Oklahoma City Thunder than Russ did in his,
8, 9,
8,
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
So, which is absurd because Russ is easily the greatest player in the history.
Oh, counter argument time. Quiet down, young one. All right. So I will ride and die with Russell Westbrook. Him getting traded was one of the worst sports moments of my life last summer. But when Kevin Durant left, Russell Westbrook got to the first round, and he sucked big time. Like, they didn't succeed at all. And even when they had Paul George the last 2 years, they still lost in 6 and 5 games or something like that, I believe, to the Jazz and Blazers, and with another superstar there and a solid big to help you out. They trade him, get Chris Paul back. I hated Chris Paul personally. I couldn't stand the guy before this year, but we had such a young team. The Thunder had such a young team this year, and he did so much for developing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
SGA,
Lou Dort. Like he was clutch several moments this postseason. Granted, it didn't end the way I wanted, but they had 0.2 chance. I think ESPN gave them a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs this year, and they made the playoffs. They forced the Rockets team led by James Harden and Russell Westbrook to 7 games. And all I'm saying is Kevin Durant was certainly the biggest factor for those Thunder teams' success over the years, but Russell Westbrook, I'll always love that guy. I'm not trying to bring him down at all, but I think Chris Paul did a significant amount this year.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook had that team on a map for how many years, though? And it's not like Chris Paul got him to even the Western Conference Finals.
They weren't. They were supposed to be a very, very, very poor team this year.
Yeah, they were supposed to win like 30 games.
Not even that. But we don't need to talk about this anymore.
Also, I'm going to give an honorable mention. I was doing a little more research on the Busch Light cans, and oh my God, there's an amazing Daytona 500 Busch Light cans.
Let's see it.
They're from, dear God, I don't even know what year this is, but there are empty cans from this year selling on eBay right now as we speak.
Those are Hall of Fame worthy cans. Those are great.
They are
Mountains of
incredible.
gold.
Yeah,
It is pretty similar in Busch Light and Busch Heavy, and they got NASCAR logo at the bottom. They say Daytona. They got that full logo. They're beautiful. They might knock everything down. They might ruin my Mount Rushmore.
I can't knock that. Those are beautiful cans. But if we don't have anything else here, we just want to give one final note. Keep praying for David Eichhold's family over at 24/7. They're going through some stuff right now, and all the prayers are appreciated. But football season is supposed to be underway, and it's not, which sucks. But hopefully we get to see the Hawkeyes take the field at some point this season. Keith Duncan, ISM, Brandon Smith.
Stu Duncan. Shout out Stu for fighting.
Yeah, shout out Stu. But, hey, whether you believe in it or not, let's wear a mask so we get to see Luka Garza and the Hawks and Spencer Lee and the Hawks compete for national championships this year, all right? Thanks for listening, guys. You can follow our Twitter pages. Mine is Myers_Luke. Joey's is JoeMama2196. Austin's is Myers Austin. Ross's is
Ross Wedewer.
Ross Wedewer. And then the Hawkeye Tailgate Reports page is HTR_pod, and that's also our Instagram if you want to go check that out. You got something to say, or?
I'll save it for the end.
Alrighty. Thanks for listening, everybody, and go Hawks.
And fuck Nebraska.